What up, gamers? And today I'll be showing you how to play one of the best comps on the new patch on 14.8b, as well as, coincidentally, one of the easiest comps to execute on, assuming that you hit. And that is Heavenly Kayn and Morgana duo carry. This is the hottest comp right now. And if you play this composition, you should probably expect to be double or three-way contested whenever you play it. Again, because it is so strong and it is so easy to play. So the core of the composition is going to be to get to 6 Heavenly plus Kayn and Morgana. Really, really, really easy. Now there are some exceptions to talk about here, and we'll do that. So before you hit Wukong, you can trio carry a Lee Sin with very similar item sets. So before you hit Wukong, just play Lee Sin, you'll be good to go. And then we go to 9 and get the Wukong in there for the 6 Heavenly. And let's just look at some stats, and we'll talk about some more stuff here and why is this comp so strong. So as you can see, this is from 14.8b Diamond Plus. Kayn 2-star 6 Heavenly. You can see the AVP right here is 3.98. And it would be even higher if the comp wasn't so contested. So this is like insane stats considering how contested the comp is. But if you actually do hit the composition, look how good it is here. So let's just go back over here and let's talk about this stuff. So let's talk about some itemization real quick. So Morgana, pretty simple, guys. You just need a Morello plus a mana generation item. It's typically what you want. So either Spear of Sojin, Adaptive, or even blue buff is acceptable, and you'll be good to go. On your frontline, Kayn, you really want this itemization, Edge of Night, Last Whisper, and Hand of Justice. This setup is really good because it keeps you safe from Kaisa players. They won't one-shot you at the beginning of the fight, as well as Dryad Gnar players and that sort of thing. Just getting that reset in the fight is really helpful, as well as you can frontline your Kayn on the wing up here. You see I have him on the wing here. You can only really position this way if you have an Edge of Night. If you don't have an Edge of Night, you're likely going to have a tank in front of your Kayn and him right here. Problem is when you're playing Heavenly comps, you really don't have a good tank unless you have a Heavenly emblem and you can play something like Ornn, and then you have a real tank that can defend Kayn. So that's why you really want to have an Edge of Night on him, because yeah, again, it allows you to frontline and then he can go to the backline very quickly into the fight after he kills the frontline. Other than that, positioning your units doesn't really matter too much. I mean, you're just going to frontline almost all of the units. Just have your Soraka in front of the area you want to mana reave. And if you end up playing a Lee Sin, just have Lee Sin and Soraka on opposite sides because you can't stack mana reaves. So if you do play Lee Sin, just have your Lee Sin not right next to your Soraka or in front of your Soraka so you can spread that mana reave. And then Morgana's positioning does not matter at all. Just keep her safe, because again, her targeting is just a random enemy. But if you wanted to, you could potentially just go right here so that when she's auto attacking, it'll apply the Morello on his target. That is something you could consider. But usually the more valuable is going to be have Soraka with your Kayn, so that Soraka can mana reave, or your Lee Sin with your Kayn, and you'll be good to go there. So let's talk about some augmentations here. Hey, if you have the means to, and you want to help support me continuing to do what I love, which is make these videos for you guys, then consider becoming a member. Thank you. Back to the video. So as you can see here, I have Patient Study, Epitaph, and Little Buddies. We're going to dig into the stats in just a second to show you guys that. So why do I have Patient Study here? I think this composition is strong enough that you take 1 econ 2 combat. And the reason why we'd want to do that is because, as I said at the beginning of the video, whenever you play this comp, you are very likely to be 3-way contested. So whoever has the economy to send the most gold at 8 is going to be the one who wins that contesting battle usually. So having something like Patient Study and playing a little bit of a lost streak opener into a 4-1 level 8 roll down is going to ensure that you hit the comp. And if you can hit the comp with the whole setup, it's not like you're going to win out. You still need to have 2 or 3 lives whenever you roll for the comp. But assuming you can hit the Kayn 2-star in the full board, then you are very likely to win on stage 4. And then if you can go to 9, again, this composition is so strong. As long as you have 2 or 3 lives and not getting griefed by a fortune player, as long as you can get to the comp, you're good to go. So having something like Patient Study and then Epitaph, super broken on melee carries, and Little Buddies here. Little Buddies obviously so strong. I mean, just look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 right here that is going to be buffing your Kayn, Morgana, your Wukong, and your Lee Sin if you end up playing Lee Sin in the composition. So let's go over and look at some stats on some other augments for you guys. So Little Buddies, obviously super, super, super broken here. Take it at 3-2 or 4-2. You can't be offered it at 2-1, obviously. Combat Caster is looking pretty strong here. Obviously, look, the sample size isn't too high here, but we can infer a lot of this stuff anyways, just based off of, it sounds very intuitive. Type Combat Caster is good. Patient Study, very good. Again, I think 1 economy augment is good. for you. Accomplice obviously is going to be great. There's loads of support items that are great with Kayn, like Banshees, Locket, Zeke's, that sort of thing. So a lot of good support items you can play. Martyr, you know, any of these like general combat augments are always so good with Heavenly. Silver Veil, of course, great with melee carries. Tiny But Deadly, of course, great with melee carries. Inspiring Epitaph, of course. Not today. It's an item we want to build. We can also put one on Lee Sin or Wukong. So it makes a lot of sense. Idealism, again, can put on Lee Sin or Wukong. Very good for you. Gargantuan, I'm not a huge fan of Gargantuan after the nerfs, but Kayn's base health is so high, and with Heavenly, that it actually is really good. Like, dude, I faced a Sterax, a Radiant Sterax, Titans, double Titans Kayn last night, and I just could not kill it. It was so unkillable. So yeah, you can look to play that. Divine Rolls is another kind of economy augment that can help you do this, because you can tempo throughout the game without having to worry. Let's talk about Reaper Crown. So if you end up getting a Reaper Crown, you can drop out of 6 Heavenly and play more like 5 Heavenly to play something like a Yone or a Kindred. If you have Epitaph or Little Buddies, if you have Epitaph, you definitely want to play Yone, because you just want to get more shields onto Kayn. He's just a sacrificial lamb for your Kayn. But if you have something like Little Buddies and not Epitaph, then consider playing Kindred instead, because it is another Little Buddy. So just be mindful of that your augments can change what the +1 is here, but that's a little bit of micromanaging your composition. But anyways, lastly, let's just talk about some item holders here. If you guys are curious, item holders throughout the game. These guys that I have on the front line are going to be your most consistent and reliable item holders for Kayn's items. Note that Kiana and Kha'Zix, if you want to item hold them, you're going to have to remake that unit. So just know that. But this is a good place to put your AD items as your before you transition to the Kayn comp. And then back here are going to be some of the easier spots to put your AP items. There are more than these, but I think these ones are the easiest ones. So a Sojin Morello. I know Tristana seems a little bit out of place here. She's not an AP unit. All these are AP units. But Tristana with Sojin and Morello is actually pretty strong in the mid game. Nowhere's no. But other than that, things like Kindred, Soraka, and Ahri are probably going to be your most consistent, but you can totally put the items on Soraka, the Morello, and the Sojin, or the Adaptive, that sort of thing. Be good to go. Anyways, guys, that is pretty much it with the build. Again, it is so easy to play this comp. Remember, you are going to be very contested, so just be mindful about that. I think you can actually hard force this comp on the patch, but again, you are so contested. If you want to know a couple more flex spots, if you end up playing the Heavenly line, because I think you can actually like finagle like a Heavenly flex. If you're actually playing this Heavenly line, I think you can do some really weird stuff. And this is the experimental phase. Okay, we're experimenting here, but I've done some weird stuff when I've just been trying to learn some tech, so I can teach you guys some stuff. If you end up like it's just not going to be possible to hit your Morgana and stuff, you can maybe consider making a build like this. Look, we're only 1 off the Mythic, and then imagine we can't hit Kayn, but nobody's playing Lee Sin that game, and we hit a Lee Sin instead. And then how many units do we have on board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let's drop the Kha'Zix, and then let's add just a Mythic unit, which could be either Nautilus or this one. Let's add this one, and look, there we are. Now, obviously, we don't have Invoker, but who cares? And we could be good to go like this. If we wanted to additionally dip more out of Heavenly, we could do something like dropping Malphite and playing Annie, because she is so very, very strong. So anyways, what I'm doing right here is I'm just showing you guys some outs. If you are trying so hard to play Kayn and it's just not going to happen, then we can do something like this. And if you tempoed hard enough early game and you have enough HP, like you weren't the patient study player, like somebody else was lost streaking into playing this comp, and you were more the win streak style player, but you're just not going to be able to hit the comp. If you hit a comp like this will definitely get you a top 4 if you were healthy enough earlier on in the game. And then you can tech some stuff later, like, just tech in some legendaries later, like when you level to 9 and play something like Lysandra. And you can play something like this. This is a cool way to make a new board, and you can be good to go there. Anyways, guys, that is it for the build today. Good luck climbing, and I'll see you on the next one.